Okay. So most of these will be just solving triangles, pretty much the whole exam. So A is 6, B is 8, C is something, we don't know, capital A, capital B, capital C is 70 degrees. So looking at what we're given, what do you guys think, which law should we use, law of sines or cosines?
Sine.
Law of sine. Law of sine requires an angle and its opposite side, right?
Cosine.
Yeah, so we're gonna have to do cosine. So we could do law of sine after we find this guy here, and then we'd be fine. But since we can't, we have no choice but to use the C formula, little c. Let's see what. Oh, sorry, one moment. Guess everything's fine. Sorry. All right. So the formula for C. Let me go bring it up. It's going to be, and I gave you all these simplified, so I hope you have them somewhere ready for your test. So a squared plus b squared minus 2ab cosine of c. So that will be equal to the square root of 36 plus 64 minus 2 times 6 times 8. Oops, times c, which is 70, right? At this point, you just plug it into your calculator. And don't make the mistake, there's always a few students that do this. Don't subtract these, because you got to multiply times the cosine first. Then you subtract, right? Or do it all at once in your calculator. Either way. Oops. Sorry about that. Okay. Where is my calculator? Here it is. Okay. So second square root button, 36 plus 64 minus 2 times 6 times 8, cosine 70. It's about 8 point, say 8.2, I guess. So now we got little c. So at this point, you can just start using law of sines to find the other angles. Once you find that angle, you can use the idea of 180 to find the other angle. That the sum of all angles for a triangle has to be 180. So it doesn't matter which one we find. So you could use law of sine, you could stick with law of cosine. It doesn't matter. I'm going to use, I suppose, law of sine. So sine of b over b is equal to sine of c over c. I want to solve for b, so I have to multiply both sides by b. So that cancels. Now you do sine inverse of both sides to cancel the sine. So that means that B is equal to this, right? Sine inverse of B sine C over C. Which is, so that would be sine inverse of capital little b is 8, sine of C is 70 over 8.20. Sine inverse, oops, wrong button, sine inverse 8 times sine 70 divided by 8.2. So 66.46, or sorry, yeah, let's say 66.5, I guess. So this is approximately 66.5 degrees. So that is capital B. So now that we have capital B, we should know what A is, right? So A plus B plus C has to equal 180 degrees by definition, which means that A is equal to 180 minus B minus C, which is 180 minus 66.5 minus 70 degrees.
Can you lift up the paper?
Yeah. There we go. So showing a little more details just in case, since it's your review here. I hope it helps.
It does help. Thank you.
Are there any questions about where the A, B came from, or little c? Okay. Well, let's go number 7. Notice that number 7 has nothing but sides. That's all they gave us. Is it okay if I turn the page, or
Yes.
let me know if you need me to slow down or anything. Okay, so number 7, solve the triangle. A is 8, B is 14. It's an ugly 4. Okay, so since I'm only given sides, I have no choice but to use the law of sines. Remember how I made you 3 formulas for A, capital A, B, and C? So let me go find those. A will be equal to, I believe it was cosine inverse of a bunch of stuff. Let me find it. Cosine inverse of B squared plus C squared minus A squared over 2BC. Okay, so plug all of this in to get A. So that will be 14 squared plus 16 squared minus 8 squared over 2 times 8, 14 times 16. All right, what's that going to be?
About 30 degrees.
Yeah, 30? Yeah, that's right. So I got one angle. That's great. Now you could start using law of sines now to find B or C, or you could use the other law of cosines. But since let's use law of cosine just for the practice, so I'm going to use the B formula, which is cosine inverse of A squared plus C squared minus B squared over 2AC. So that would be cosine inverse of 8 squared plus 16 squared minus 14 squared over 2 times 8 times 16. All right, let's see what that is.
Professor.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I guess what I struggle with the most is knowing when to use what formula. Like, how do I know? Like, I don't know how to. Do you know what I'm asking?
I think so. Yeah. So you're saying like how do you know which law of sine or which law of cosine to use at different times?
Exactly. Like, what's a trigger? Like, what'll tell me that I'm gonna use this, that, or the other?
Sometimes it doesn't matter. Other times you have no choice. So the trigger for this one was the fact that I had nothing but sides to begin with, meaning law of sines cannot help me. Because if you look at the law of sine formula, right, you have to have an angle and an opposite side. Do you remember when I gave you those 4 cases?
Right.
So those cases tell you when you can use law of sine and when you can't. So the fact that I have A, B, and C but no angle, then I was screwed and I had to do this one. Once I found the angle, then I could do whatever I wanted because I have an angle and its opposite side. I'm no longer restricted. You see what I mean?
Yes, I do. Thank you for that.
Yeah. But yeah, I would write down the cases on the formula sheet just in case, like you forget during a test or something, just to be safe. Okay. So that gives us what? I forgot. Yeah, we'll say 61 degrees. Round to the nearest degree. So now we have capital B, right? So now that we have capital B, what can we do to find the last angle to make it easy, right? Because we don't want to do a third formula because, that sucks.
Subtract it from 180.
Yeah, so use this idea as much as you can to avoid working.
Sorry, is it 61 or 71?
I got 61. Did you get 71? Let me double.
61.
Okay. What did you guys get for C? You get 89?
Yeah.
Okay. There you go. Any questions on how we found A or B?
For B, can you do the calculation on your calculator? I don't know why I'm not getting the 61.
Okay, so I'm going to pretend I have your calculator. So I don't have the fraction button, right? You said? So what you're going
Right,
to
I
have,
have the TI 83.
okay, so what you're going to have to do is put an extra set of parentheses for the numerator. So 8
Oh,
squared
okay,
plus
it's okay. I
16.
remember now.
You remember? Okay.
Yes, that's what. Okay, that's what I keep messing up on. Okay.
Yeah, because you need to tell it that everything on the top, parentheses, divided by everything on the bottom. If you don't do that, then it's going to divide just the last part, which is wrong.
Yeah, and I forgot that I was doing my homework too, and I couldn't get it, and that's why. Okay, I gotta make a note of that. Thank you.
Yeah. No worries. Any other questions on 7? Okay. Sorry, is there a question? There's no rush here.
Someone posted in the messages that they still got 71.
That's weird. Let's see here. AC should be 8, 16, 2 times 8 times 16. The formula is A squared plus B plus C squared minus B squared. No, it should be 70. Should be 61.
I just noticed my mistake. I put in a 2 instead. I put in a 3 instead of a 2.
Okay, cool. It's always good to double check though, because I don't want to give you fake notes, you know. Yeah, I think that'd be messed up. Like for 2 hours, I teach you math that doesn't exist. You know, it'd be really messed up. All right. Number 8 is a word problem. This is your favorite type of problem. So this one's not difficult to solve. It's difficult to understand what the hell's going on. So I'm going to copy this and post it in the chat so we don't have to keep switching over. And to save us some time from writing. All right, so island A is 150 miles from island B. The ship captain travels 250 miles from island A and finds that he is off course. And 160 miles from island B. What angle in degrees must he turn through to head straight for island B? Okay. Be careful to properly identify which angle. Oh, okay. All right, so got it. So sometimes this takes like 3 or 10 different reads till you figure out what the heck they're saying. So let's go slow here. All right, so I know for sure the first sentence makes perfect sense to me. I am 150 miles from island A and B, right? You agree with that? That's no big deal. Okay, so that part's easy to understand. Now it says a ship captain travels 250 miles from island A. So I'm starting at A and I'm traveling 250 from there. I don't know where the heck, which direction, but going somewhere, right? So I'm going to say I'm going, I don't know, this direction, I guess. Then I find out, or the captain anyway, that he's off course and he's 160 miles from Island B. So I don't know where I'm at, but I know that now when I check my GPS or whatever the heck they use, I'm 160 miles away. Does this logic make sense to you so far?
So far,
Okay. It makes sense to me, but it's really confusing. Reading it the first time, it's like, what's going on, right? So I know I'm going this direction. That last piece says something about a turning angle. So what angle in degrees must he turn? So they're not asking for this angle, are they? They're not asking for this or this. Right? They want to know, how much do I need to turn? Solve the turning angle. This guy. Does that make sense, what they're asking? Okay. All right. So let's write down everything we know. I don't know any of the angles, correct? I do know all the sides. So since I know all the sides, which rule should we use?
Cosine.
Yeah, we have no choice, right? We have to do law of cosine. Okay. The angle that I don't need any of these angles, right? I just need to know this turning angle. So if I find this angle, I should be able to figure out that extra part. So I need to find C. So the formula for C in the law of cosines is equal to cosine inverse of two AB A squared plus B squared minus C squared, right? So what is that going to be? You see how the actual solving part is super easy? Figuring what the heck is going on is the hard part, in my opinion. Now we just plug it into the formula. AB 160 squared plus 250 squared minus 150. There we go. You guys read that? Kind of jammed it in there. Just plug in the numbers, right? What did you guys get?
I got 34.9.
Yeah, that sounds right. 34.9 degrees though, right? 34.9 degrees. Now, do you agree that if I were facing this way and I wanted to do a complete 180, right? Literally, that's 180 degrees, correct? That's where the word comes from. 180 turn.
Yes.
So I'm going forward, go completely turn around 180. So that means that the distance from here to here is 180. This distance is 34.9. So how do I find that missing distance?
Minus the
subtract.
180.
Yeah, just subtract it. The turning angle would be equal to 180 minus this, right? Does that make sense?
Yes.
So what is that? 140 something. 5, right? Is there any questions about any of the steps? Okay. So again, the hard part is figuring out what's happening. You just have to read it multiple times until you realize piece by piece what is going on. Once you draw the picture, which I really recommend, it becomes a little more manageable. Okay. That's the only thing I can tell you, because word problems they're always challenging. Guys, moving on to 9, is that fine? Or do you have any other questions? Okay. Number 9 and 10 are actually not too bad. They just tell you to find the area, given some information. So let me show you. So 9 and 10 will be the same thing. You just use different formulas. Let's do 10 and then do this word problem here. Well, I guess we could do both. That's fine. Number 9, find the area of the triangle. The triangle is something like this, I guess. 125, 6, A, B, C. Okay, so I don't have any angles except B, right? Or sorry, C. I have angle or side A and side B, so I can use one of the area formulas that I gave you. I think it's 9.4. 1/2 times A times B times sine C. So plug that in, you'll have 1/2 times 5 times 6 times sine of 125. What would that be? So 3 times 5 sine. You guys get 12.28 or 29. Any questions on number 9?
No, pretty straightforward.
I hope so. That's what I'm hoping for. Okay, so number 10, find the area of the triangle. Nine, 8, 9. Okay. So, since we have nothing but sides, we should use the hero's formula, which is this guy. A is equal to the square root of s times s minus a times s minus b, s minus c, where s is equal to 1/2 times a plus b plus c. So let's find s first. So s is equal to 1/2 times 9 plus 9 plus 8. What is that going to be? I got 13. So now plug it all in and we should be good. It doesn't matter which one you label as A, B, or C, as long as you do all of them, right? So 13 times 13 minus one of the sides, which I'll choose 9. 13 minus the other side, which is also a 9. 13 minus the last side. All right. Looks like I got a 32.25. Is that what you got?
Can you please put, scoot the
Oh,
paper?
sorry
Thank
about that.
you.
And what was it that you said why we would use the heroes formula?
Because we have no angles. So because if you notice, the other area formulas require an angle, right? Sine c. But I have none, and Hero's formula only needs the sides. So this would be the easiest approach. If you use another formula, you would have to find one of the angles in order to use something like this, which means I have to do more work, and I don't recommend you do unnecessary work. Does that make sense, or?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Okay. All right. All right, last question.
Give me 30 more seconds.
Sure. No rush.
Is that 13? So A at the bottom, A equals, and then 13 parentheses, 13 minus 9?
Yeah, this is 13 times 13 minus 9 times 13 minus 9 times 13 minus 8. So remember, you're just subtracting each of the sides from S.
Appreciate it.
All right. Number 11 is another word problem. So the painter needs to cover a triangular region. Copy paste it over here. 60 meters by 68 meters by 72 meters. A can of paint covers 70 square meters. How many cans does this guy need? Let's see. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to draw his region he wants to paint. Some triangle, he said. I don't care where it goes. They're all meters. 60, 68, and 72. I have all the sides, so we can use Hero's formula again to find the area. So we need S, right? A plus B plus C. So that would be equal to 1/2 times 60 plus 68 plus 72. I think that is 100. Let me check. Yeah. So once you have S, we can use the Heroes formula, because all you need is the sides and S. So plug in the S, 100 times 100 minus 60 times 100 minus 68 times 100 minus 72. That is going to be something. Let me see. Did you guys get 1893.15 meters squared? It's all in meters and areas in meters squared.
Yeah, that's what I got.
Okay, cool. So this is the area of the entire floor. I think you said it's a floor, right? Or you just said region. I'm imagining a floor for some reason. Yeah, so it's a wall, floor, whatever. There's some section that he wants to paint. This is the square area of that region. So at the beginning, it said that 1 can of paint covers 70 square meters. So how do I figure out how many cans I need?
Divided by
Divide it.
70.
But divide by 70.
Right? Yeah. So here we go. So 1893 divided by 70 meters squared per 1 can. You don't have to show this step, but just for fun, I want to show you something. So if I were to divide by a fraction, that's the same as multiplying by the reciprocal, right? The meter squares cancel. 70 is over here. Went ahead and moved it. Or you could put it over here, I guess. Maybe that makes more sense. So meters cancel. So that gives me 1893.15 divided by 70 cans, right? So the units end up working for you. So how many cans is that?
$27.05.
So we can't just use 0.045 of a can. So I'm going to have to
Yeah,
buy,
so 28.
yeah, 28 cans. This unit thing I did just to show you how units work. It's not, you don't have to show me this, but I just want you to know that that is always happening in the background whenever you're converting, right? Okay, so 12 and 13, don't worry about those. If you see something about displacement or whatever on the test, just don't worry about it. Yeah. 12,
Just
13.
don't do those at all.
No. So skip. What was it? 12. Let me write it down.
You said 12 through 14.
Yeah, that's right. 15 is just a graphing question, so I'll leave that on there. All right, so do you have any questions on the problems we worked on? Does it make sense? Are there any issues?
Yeah, you make the word problems look so easy.
Yeah, I mean, it feels easy when you know what you're doing, right? But when you don't know it, seems so difficult, and I know how that feels. It's an ugly feeling, but that's how math feels every single class that I take. Just lost and confused.
Well, someday you're not good at.
Someday I'll figure it out. Someday. All right, guys. If you have any questions or about anything else?
Is that the end of the review?
Yeah, that's it. It's just 10 questions, or 11 questions technically.
I have a question. I was trying to work on the homeworks yesterday and today, and it
Mhm.
just won't let me do anything. It keeps giving me an error message.
I have heard that my labs has been going in and out randomly. Is it still doing that? As of
Yeah,
today?
like I tried all day yesterday after work, and then I tried today like twice.
Yeah, I don't think that's your fault, but what is the error message? Do you remember?
Let me see if it's giving to me now.
I did the homework yesterday and today just fine.
Maybe it's something's wrong with your.
It says bad request too long.
Hmm.
Because I tried it here and then I tried it at work too, and it was still giving me the same message.
And you used different computers and different browsers.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Okay. I'll ask. Just I want to check your account. Maybe it's something wrong with your account. Send me an email with your banner ID, and then I'll forward it to the My Labs guy. See what's going on.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
So on the 9.2 homework, number 6
Mhm.
is, I don't understand it.
All right. Let me see.
So when's the test?
I think it's open till the 11th, but I'm gonna push it to 13th. It should be currently open now, but I'll double check soon. You said
So
which
both-
homework did you say? I'm sorry.
Oh, well, real quick, so both the review and the test are open right now?
Yeah, they should be. If not, I'm gonna fix it.
And you said the test is due by the 13th?
Yeah. Let's see. Well, is that too soon? Do you guys need more time? It's not a big deal to me. Was it 15th better?
Yeah, I think the 15th is better.
Okay. I'll change it to 15th. Let's see here.
And is the review for a grade?
No, it won't be. And if it is grading you that way, I'll turn that off. It's not. She will not be included at the end of the semester.
Okay, cool.
9.2, number 6, please.
Okay. 9.2, number 6. Okay. Yeah, so this one, we're going to be using a lot of signs. Let me write it down. 1 second. And it looks like there might be 2 triangles. Okay. Oh, maybe not. Okay. So number 9.2, number 6. So they give us two sides and an angle, capital A. Don't have capital B or C. Okay. So since we have a side and its opposite angle, or angle and its opposite side, oops, where did my thing go? Let me get to move the camera here. That's better. Okay. So we can find one of the angles, then we can use 180 to find the other guy, but we got to double check if we have two triangles or not. So let's first start with setting it up. So I'm going to use law of sines to find angle B. So I need to solve for sine B by multiplying both sides by B. Which cancels the fraction. So now we have sine B equal to this stuff, which then requires inverse sine to cancel. Of both sides. So capital B is equal to sine inverse of B sine A. All right, so let's use our calculator, just going on. So sine inverse of 8 times sine of 40 divided by A, 10. Okay, so it looks like it's going to be 30 degrees, 30.9. Let's see what they said to round to. 2 decimal places. Okay. So I got 30.95 degrees. So that what they do, they first need to check, is there a B1 and a B2? So this is, we'll call B1. So B1 is equal to 30.95 degrees. B2 would be equal to 180 minus 30.95, which gives me 149.05. Is this angle too big, knowing that A is fixed? So if I add A to B, is that more than 180?
No,
Right, 40 plus 149, what would that be?
oh,
Like 180 now?
Yeah, so since A plus B2 is greater than 180 degrees, then there is only one triangle. So we don't have to worry about finding B1s and B2s and none of that stuff. So we will only use this guy. So let's go back here. 30.95 degrees is B, right? So what is C? Right, subtract from 180. C is equal to 180 minus 40 minus 30.95. So that gives me 109.05 degrees. So that's got all three angles now. Do you have any questions as to how we got the angle so far? Or is that okay?
Can you show us how they wanted us to answer, how to put the answers in? Because that's why I was like lost. Like, how was I supposed to answer this?
So you would choose A. Let me see. Hopefully my thing doesn't change. Oh man, the numbers changed. Oh well. So, but let me show you. So you would choose single triangle because we determined there's not two, right? And we didn't get any errors, so it can't be C. So you would plug in the B we found, you would plug in the C we found, and then we still got to find little c. And you'd have to round to 2 decimal places. You got to be very careful. But when I clicked, the numbers changed. So,
Right.
but you see what I'm talking about, right?
Yes.
Okay. So at this point, we just got to find a little c, and that would be it. So I would recommend using law of sines again. Sine C over sine C, A over sine A. I'm choosing, you can set this equal to either A over sine A or B over sine B. It doesn't matter. I am choosing this one because it has pretty numbers, 10 and 40, instead of a 30 point whatever, right? It's the only reason I chose this. You can do either one. Solve for C by multiplying both sides by sine C. So that would give us that C is equal to A sine C over sine A, which is equal to 10 sine 109.05 over sine of 40. So that would be something. Let's see. It's a 109. So this is a C, if you can't read it. So 10 sine 109.05 over sine 40. So this will be 14.71. So that would be my last piece. So the things that they would want you to plug in would be this guy, this guy, this one. But the first thing I recommend.
Right. But the first thing was to be able to determine which, one of the answer choices, right?
Right. And that's what this did right here. So once I find, so the first thing you should do is find an angle and then check if the coterminal angle, if the reference angle here is a solution. If it's not, then you will say, okay, it's one triangle. If both of these had worked, then I'd have 2 triangles, and I'd have to find C1, C2, and little b, little c1, little c2, etc. But yeah, this tells you. And this is when I made that decision.
Are one of these on the test? I can't remember if we reviewed that the last time.
Well, on the test, yeah, we did a few of these from the test, but I didn't check if there were more than one triangles. Let me look at see if it's still open. 1 second. Here it is. On the test, so on Tuesday on Tuesday we did 1 through 5. 1 was a right angle, so you don't have to worry about that. The fact that they give you a picture means you don't have to worry about 1, 2, or no triangles. This one, number 4, was where we had to check: is there 1, 2, or none? See how you have the options of 1 triangle, etc. So this one turned out to be no triangle because we got an error. That was a word problem. So these technically we should be checking, but the answer choice basically told you that there isn't a second triangle. So I didn't check. But we should check every single time if we don't have answer choices, right? By adding the reference angle to one of the given angles, like we did here. But it looks like there was no case where you had 2 triangles like we did in the notes. There was either 1 or none in this review. You know, any questions about this? Did it make sense, or?
It makes more sense now. Thank you.
Okay. You guys have any more questions? On the last exam, before I let you go, the link that I put in for Desmos, did you click it? Did it work?
No, it didn't work.
No, it did not.
Didn't work for anybody? Maybe because I didn't click. Dang it. Okay. I'll make sure it works this time. Did it cause any problems? I don't think there was much graphing in the last test. Were you guys okay with it? I just started grading, so I haven't seen any problems yet.
Are you going to use that? I don't know if you mentioned it, but the previous review as extra credit?
You mean for test 2?
Yes.
I have not decided. If I feel like you guys need it, I'll go ahead and add some points. But if you guys do awesome, then probably not. Right, guys? But probably, I'll probably do it. But anyway, I'll see you guys on Tuesday. And if you have any more questions, we can do some more before your test, since I'm moving it to Thursday. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
See you guys
Thank you,
later.
Professor.